did last on my laptop, I couldn't download anything. It wasn't operational, so I just shut it off.
It wasn't working, and now it's doing
Did that last meeting. Oh, I got something to read. Oh boy, here we go. It's a pretty healthy package, huh?
that's why I brought my laptop.
It doesn't work. That's where I'm at. Hey Rick, is your laptop downloading? Are you able to download the?
We are at 29. If we get those mics, we will start promptly at 30 after the hour. Clock is struck 30. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to our City Council meeting. At this time, Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Schumate.
Here.
Bosmer.
Here.
Cox.
Here.
Dill.
Here.
Point. Here. McNabb.
Here.
Mulner.
Here.
Full house, no absent members to excuse, so we will call your attention to the publicly noticed agenda. Council, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have support by Bosmer, I heard. Any discussion?
I'd like to make a secondary motion to remove item H, the resolution in opposition to the transit millage from the agenda.
Procedurally, would that be a motion that would be supported in revision?
Nope.
Okay.
I will not amend my
So
motion.
that's for discussion purposes. We're in discussion now with an active motion in a second. Any other comments on that? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Nay, no, I'm opposed.
Okay.
Okay. With that being said, the motion still carries, but we will call roll for the sake of procedural clarity.
Bosmer.
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
Dill.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes. No, I mean, no, no. I did not approve the agenda.
McNabb.
Yes.
Mulner.
Yes.
Schumate.
Yes. Motion carried. Next, we would love to turn over to public comment. Members of public, it's great to see so many faces in the room this evening. With that being stated, make sure that light is green. Make sure that you can give me your name and your address for the sake of our record. And then for those that haven't been a part of our public comment, we do have a 3-minute limit on commentary, and City Administrator Witherspoon will make sure you're aware.
Great. My name is John Waterman. I live in 10582 Slane Island Road. I'm the executive director and founder of PEAK, which is a program that empowers individuals with disabilities through active modes of transportation. I have 4 individuals here who are facing a variety of disabilities who would like to be able to express themselves. And I'm here to try to support them during this moment for their 3 minutes. First, I have, come up here, Sean.
I'm Sean Carson Peak.
You're Sean Cosman of Peak. And Sean, do you have a disability?
Sir, can I, 1 second, for the sake of 3 minutes, you have more than 3 minutes. I do not want to disrupt 6 people. So please, just know that we will not stop you at 3 minutes. Take your time.
Thank you very much. I would ask for it any time. I really appreciate it, and you guys are great. So Sean, do you have a disability?
I do.
What is your disability?
What is tough?
Reading and writing is tough, and that's called a cognitive impairment, right?
Yep.
And so they want to know your address. I know you've told me you're not going to tell them your street address because you can't tell that to strangers, right?
Yep.
What city do you live in? That's really what they want to know.
Kenton.
You live in Canton. And why are you here? What are you here to talk about?
Get buses.
The buses. And a lot of times we don't, as transportation, we talk about transportation, we don't spend a lot of time thinking about our transportation. We go out, we get in our car, and we get to where we want to go. Sean, do you know how to use the bus? Did you learn how to use the bus at Peak and at the old Lincoln Park Al Petrie building?
I do.
You do. Can you get to the mall?
Only with Peak.
Only with Peak? Only from Peak? Can you get to the grocery store? Can you go to Myers?
Nope.
Nope. And why can't you go to Myers from your house in Canton?
There's got no buses.
There's no bus, but you know how to use the bus.
I do.
And so what do you do most of your days? Are you sitting at home inside the house?
Yes.
Yeah? Are you lonely?
Yep.
And it's sad. It's like you're locked away because you don't have transportation in your community. Can you step aside for a second? Let somebody else come up. Come on, sir.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kenneth, and I'm a student at Peak. I'm from Wyandotte.
Nice to meet you.
Do you have a disability?
Yes, my disability is cerebral palsy.
And explain, what does that do to you?
For me, it affects my fine motor skills and my speech impairment and with my walking ability.
Yeah, okay. Where do you live?
Wyandotte.
You live in Wyandotte. How do you travel?
I either have people driving around or I take the bus.
The bus. Where can you go with the bus?
Like to Southland Mall or the Myers or Walmart.
Could you get to Detroit?
Yes.
How?
By doing a few transfers, doing different transfer buses.
Don't just say that. Tell me the numbers. What bus would you take?
For
How would
me,
you do this?
For me, I'll take the 125, the 160, the 261, the straight downtown Detroit.
And they'd make it right down there. You could get there. How much would that cost you?
50 cents.
And are you independent with this bus?
Yes.
But Sean isn't?
Well, he can, but there's no buses that go to Canton.
So he's left out, even though he knows how to do this.
Yes.
Next. Cody, could you come here, please?
Hi, I'm Cody Avery, and I live in Huron Township. I'm where I'm with.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Cody.
Cody, do you have a disability?
Yes, I have autism.
And can we explain it a little bit?
Yes,
What does autism do to you?
it causes me to rock and jump and shake my hands.
So sometimes you're happy you do that.
Yes,
Other times you're nervous.
yes,
Has people ever been afraid of you because you're kind of a big guy?
yes.
But you have you ever hurt anybody?
No.
No, but it's really tough when you have autism and you're moving around like that. People get nervous.
Yes.
You work at the bakery.
Yes.
You have a disability. You want to be independent. You're earning money.
Yes.
Explain how that works for you. How do you get to that bakery?
I Uber.
You Uber. How much does it cost for you to Uber to the bakery?
Almost $20.
Almost $20. Do you tip people when you go to the Uber?
Yes, 5.
$25 to get to work.
Yes.
What does it cost to get back?
Probably 18, 20.
Oh, so sometimes it's less and sometimes it's more?
Yes.
So you don't even really know?
No.
You just kind of make that guess.
Yes.
Do you still give them a tip?
Yes, 5.
$5. Always $5?
Yes. Yes, it depends if the car's clean or neat.
If they have a dirty car, do you not give them a tip if it stinks?
Yes, $5.
$1, okay. And those are choices you make. How many hours do you work at your bakery? At the bakery?
5.
5 hours. So you make less than $100.
Yes.
You're working 5 hours and you're paying Almost $50 to get back and forth to work.
Yes.
Do they take taxes out of your check?
Um, yes, I think
You're paying taxes? Yeah, they do. You're paying taxes, I can tell you. If you're getting a check, you're paying taxes. So that means you're not getting a lot of money after it's all done. You're paying for this. How much would the Smart Bus cost you or a ride if you were there?
15 cents.
50 cents?
50 cents.
And what is that? Is that how many quarters?
2.
2 quarters. And you could get to work?
Yes.
2 quarters back. That means, so you work because you love it.
Yes.
Does the bakery love you being there?
Yes.
And so that's the difference when we start talking about this. We have a young man here who's out in our community, making a difference, facing his disability, and it's really charging. Thank you, Cody.
Yes, you're welcome.
Next. Ready, Kamisha? I know, a little nervous with it. Your name is?
My name is Kamisha Jones.
Kamisha Jones.
Nice to meet you.
Kamisha, do you have a disability?
Yeah, it's a cognitive impairment.
And what does that mean?
A reading writing is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. There's something special about you. Where do you live? Do you live on your own?
Yeah,
Do you have an apartment or a house?
apartment
And where do you live?
in Taylor.
Because, is there a bus there?
Yeah.
So you can you get to Myers? No, sometimes yes, sometimes no?
Yeah, about walking, but
Walking? But the bus doesn't always go to every place, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of frustrating sometimes, to make sure, and that's really an important time. Just saying no to the millage and not getting what your community needs. If this passes and you guys don't negotiate now, you're gonna have less power to negotiate later. Once that money's turned over there, this is the time to be talking to SMART. What are you gonna do for our community? What are you gonna provide? What is gonna happen there? Fill those gaps in. And I understand, I know resolution could be, feel good right now, but it's blocking out students like Kamisha. And Kamisha, what school do you work with?
Roosevelt and Joe Brighton.
Joe Brighton School. So kids with cognitive impairments and autism go to Joe Brighton School. I taught at Joe Brighton, and I was a great teacher.
Yeah.
Was I? Are you a better teacher than I am?
Yeah.
Explain.
Because I break down more easier.
You do. I was a brainiac. Do I talk too much?
Yes, you do.
And so what we have found out, and through all my years, I've taught for 38 years, individuals with cognitive impairments and autism are better teachers for kids with cognitive impairments than I am. They break it down. They miss steps that I missed, and they can make a difference. We have students now traveling our community, living independently, and doing that because of it. Your students from Gibraltar come to Joe Brighton, and they learn training from people like Kamisha, people like us, and we provide these trainings. So we're really saying, I'd love you guys to come out and ride with us, see what we're doing, and see how important this transit is. It may not be a fixed bus in your area. It may be something like a flex zone. You know about those flex zones? How does that work? Do you get in a smaller car or a big car?
Probably smaller.
A small car. You don't get in the bus, right? Does the guy have a uniform on? And you kind of know we taught him, right?
Yeah.
And so we feel safer. You feel
Yeah.
safer like that, right? When you take an Uber, you have to do what? Be on the phone with your mom the whole time?
Yeah.
Because you're scared. And we don't know who's driving the Ubers, but we know who's driving our transit vehicles. And when they do training through SMART, they have to spend half an hour hearing our students talk and tell their story, just as we're talking here. They are the lifeline for independence. This is a lifeline. We have an opportunity in Wayne County to change accessibility. Gibraltar could open its barriers so we can come across into the community. I thank you so much and ask you to seriously reconsider your opposition to this millage. Thank you.
Did anybody play in the annual Shooting with the Stars game at Carlson?
Who's done the annual Shooting Stars
Basketball.
basketball games?
Oh, wait, I think I did.
You did,
Yeah.
Cody. I'm sure you did. You've done
Good
a
to see you,
lot.
Cody.
Sean, you don't play basketball, do you? You can't. Your eye, you can't see well. Nope. So
Was
Cody
Ma-
has.
Yes.
Is
Excellent.
Maggie still coaching? Maggie, is she still?
Oh, Maggie Sharon.
Maggie Gibson?
Oh, Maggie Gibson. I'm sorry, I knew her before, so
Maggie Gibson.
I'm showing my age.
Yes, I think I'm still doing swimming.
Oh, good.
Swimming, yeah.
And now she's doing a whole cookie company after she retired,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, she's doing a whole cookie. My
It's called My Cookie Project.
Yeah, my cookie project.
That's awesome.
Where's it at?
I think in Allen Park.
In the
Okay.
church in Allen Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the
Yeah.
basement there, so they started kind of a kickoff of what Joe Brighton did in their cookie
That's the one who
company.
taught me how to cook. and
Is it?
everything, Yeah.
But who taught you how to fix bikes?
You.
And all these guys have built their own bikes. So we purchased Al Petrie's old bike shop, and we actually do travel training, teaching people how to fix their bikes and riding there. And we do a 2-mile ride at
The
Lincoln Park?
Yeah.
every day. Excellent. So thank you guys.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming. Thank you all so much for sharing with us and coming from Canton Wyandotte Taylor here on Township. Just so you know, we have had extensive discussions with county officials and SMART officials to make sure we are fully informed on current state. And historically, Gibraltar has opted out, just for context. So I really appreciate it, because this is what public comment is all about, to hear from those that will directly be impacted. And just thank you all so much for coming out.
And any way we can help with that to make sure that things are put into place that aren't missed, we'd love to.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming to our council meeting. The floor is now open again for public comment. We will enforce the 3 minutes from here on out.
Happily, thank you. My name's Matt Wilk. It's a very tough act to follow. I'm an organizer of a group called Not Smart Wayne. We stand in opposition to the millage. And let me explain to you, in the context of what we heard, why. So what I have in front of me, and you probably have seen before, is the Wayne County Transit Evaluation. This is where they describe, with their tax dollars, what they are going to spend money on. The people you see behind me, and my mom was a 25-year special education teacher in Roseville and parochial schools in Detroit, and I'm very familiar with what this is and what it takes. Of that, 21 million of the 23 million additional dollars will go to something other than paratransit. It's not helping these people back here. Having another bus line, the 120 line, go through Gibraltar, this one here, doesn't help people that need to be accompanied to a bus. Paratransit, microtransit, those things might work. You all have 2 nice senior buses out there, one larger, one we do in my town of Northville as well. Those are important things. It's important to know, notwithstanding what you've heard, less than 1% of the tax dollars goes towards senior transportation. $550,000 out of $57 million. You have to ask why the priorities are this way. Why are we funding fixed buses going up and down the street and not funding the people behind me? And because we're not, I'll ask you this. Is the solution to that problem, SMART's lack of ability of providing this, is the solution to give them $570 million more dollars and hope they figure it out? I don't think it is. I have other additional information if you need it. I'll pass it on to the council members. The letter that you've received from SMART has some glaring inaccuracies, like saying $44 million of their $188 million goes to seniors. It does not. The word senior is not used in their budget one time. It's important to be clear for your people and what we're asking. This is a new tax. This is not a replacement. You're not paying this tax right now. It's 10 years, and it's viewed by transit officials as a start. They want to tax more. For that, you might get a bus line. If you look at the report carefully, bus lines are rolled out over a 3-year period. And importantly, in 2022, when SMART was pushing this in Oakland County, they made a bunch of promises. We looked at the map in 2026, 4 years hence. None of those routes exist. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Jackson. I reside at 27830 Rose Avenue in Brownstown. I am an auxiliary member at Rock of Gibraltar VFW Post 4230. I am here today to convey to you the experience our organization was met with when we rented a 10-by-10 outside space for the 4th of July festival. So we wanted to hold the membership drive. Sorry. After we turned in the money to receive our space, I reached out to Hannah on June 23rd via text asking where our space would be located. I did not hear back. I called on June 26th. She said she was putting the finishing touches on the map and would send it to me. No communication until I called on July 1st. She then sends me a map and said we would be outside the Cook Center. I had no idea what the Cook Center was. I'm not from Gibraltar, and where it was located. The map just showed a building and orange squares in front of it where tables were going to be. I then asked through text, do we just pick a spot where we want? She said no, she'll be there to line us up. I immediately responded and asked what time and where to meet up at. Again, no response. Our post commander went to Gibraltar on July 3rd and had to seek her out. When we realized how far away from the festivities it actually was, we decided not to have a table. I sent her a text relaying our disappointment, requested a refund. We wanted to provide a membership drive to let the community who may not know and be aware of what we do. The VFW contributes and helps resources to our veterans, active military, and their families. The very same men and women who has fought for the country to have our freedom and whom we celebrate, especially on the 200th birthday of the United States of America. We also help several local charities. We did have a float in the parade, and as we were going by the Cook Center, we seen no tables outside unless they set up later, but we were told to be there at 7 a.m. Hannah referred me to Rachel Witherspoon, which I contacted and relayed the same message to her, and this was her response. Thank you for reaching out. I understand your concerns regarding the placement of your vendor table, and I sincerely apologize for any frustration or confusion this may have caused. However, it was communicated to vendors on multiple occasions prior to the event the vendor spaces would be located at the Cook Center. It was not conveyed to us. Even on the application, it did not say that.
I just want to flag that we are 30 seconds
Okay.
from, but here was what I want you to say. Take a little extra time for me just talking now, and then please can you send us a copy of this? You have my email and everybody's email.
Absolutely.
This docket are published
Okay,
online.
absolutely, yes. So anyway, in conclusion, I'll just conclude it. We were disheartened, very disappointed on how we were treated and how we felt that, it was just our membership drive. We were trying to get community involvement, of course. So I'm hoping, and if we decide to do a membership drive next year, that the communication efforts are much improved.
I want to thank you for coming and sharing your experience. Feel free to grab me after the meeting, or I don't want to have you stay if you don't want to. All of our emails are published. Please
Okay.
send us a copy of that if you're willing.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we hope that you pursue a future showcase in our community, and thank you for all you do for veterans.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Shimoniak. I'm a staff member at Peak. I reside in 3961 Hunters Way Court, Canton, Michigan. I just wanted to clarify that our students are trained to use the fixed routes, and that paratransit is always expanded when they add more fixed routes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Von Zinda. I'm here on behalf of SMART of Detroit, Michigan. I want to be clear that I am not asking the council to vote one way or the other on the resolution that's on your agenda tonight, but I do want to make myself available to answer any questions that you may have about little buses, big buses, flexible transit, senior and disability programs. And I also have a few different handouts that I'd be more than happy to share with anyone who would like some. Thank you.
Well, since, if I may, since we're on the topic, obviously, another individual had shared some data points with us. We've
Sure.
done our own research. Would you like to address any of those data points, like 1% supporting seniors, 21 out of 23 million? Some of those data points he's brought up, are those accurate?
Well, it's not in the budget because it's describing the paratransit services and the community partnership programs. Paratransit is federally required to operate in tandem with fixed route service, 3/4 of a mile on either side. So it's meant to mimic that service for seniors and people with disabilities.
May I ask, was anything he stated incorrect, factually?
Yes.
What?
The 1% of the budget goes to senior programs.
Okay, so that's factually correct. What is the percentage?
I believe it's 44% goes to the community partnership programs, as well as the paratransit that's operated in conjunction with the fixed route.
Thank you. Sorry, that's what I just want to make sure.
I do have some handouts that have all those kind of, quick facts there. Would love to share them with you. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and I don't want to interrupt your time. I just want to make sure I clarified my question. Anything else you would like to share while you're here with the council?
That is all. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Any additional members of public wish to address council?
Hi there, my name is Patty Posios. I want to start with a little story. So I'm a first-generation American. My mom came from Greece in 1955. My dad came in 56. They got married in 58, and they didn't buy their first car until 1968. So how did they make a living and provide for two young boys? They rode the bus. But that was Detroit in the 50s, when density was 13 some odd thousand per square mile, whereas now it's about 4,800 per square mile. So I stand in opposition to this tax, not because I don't believe in transit or publicly provided transit, but I believe that these people deserve better and taxpayers deserve better. So anyway, but I also want to clarify what this gentleman said. So reading from the Wayne County Transit Evaluation, additional funding for local providers, $550,000. The tax is $57 million. So that is less than 1%.
Thank you.
Their own plan.
Any additional members of public that wish to address council? Well, it was really good to hear from everybody that spoke. And with that, I will close our public comment section. Thank you all for coming out and spending your time with us. And I will turn over the floor to City Administrator Witherspoon.
Thank you. So we are blessed in the city of Gibraltar to have an incredibly talented, dedicated, and hardworking team serving our community. Oftentimes, working for the government is a thankless job filled with complaints and problems we are unable or ill-equipped to solve. There are two main aspects of the job that encourage municipal employees to keep showing up. The first is knowing you are making a difference for the community you love. The second is working alongside team members who lift you up and support you no matter how difficult the moment may be. Tonight we are going to honor members of our team that may not always be thanked in the manner they deserve and who both make a difference in our community and our team. First, I'm going to turn it over to our fire department for their Fire Department Member of the Year.
Thank you. The member that receives this award this year is Bill Wilkins. He's been on the department for a couple years now, and he exemplifies everything it is to be part of our team. When we need something, he shows up. He's always there asking if there's more that can be done. This is a small award, I do believe, in conjunction for the effort that he puts into this department. He is there all the time. He is retired, but he still has a lot of family things that go on outside of here, and he always makes time for the department and makes sure that he is running over 50% of our calls every year. So he does put in a lot of effort. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here tonight for me to give him the award, but we do appreciate his effort that he does put in.
Can we give a round, please?
Thank you, Captain Schaefer. Now I'll turn it over to our Director of Public Safety for his two awards.
Thank you. I would like to recognize two members of the Gibraltar Public Safety Department for their exceptional service and dedication to our community. David LaCourse has been selected as our Officer of the Year in recognition of his professionalism, commitment to enforcing our city ordinances with fairness and integrity. Barry Healy has been selected as Dispatcher of the Year for his calm demeanor, communication skills, and unwavering dedication to providing critical support to our police officers, firefighters, and the public. On behalf of the Gibraltar Public Safety Department, I'd like to congratulate both David and Barry on this well-deserved recognition and thank them for their continued dedication, hard work, and commitment to the city of Gibraltar. So thank you both.
Another round, please.
Thank you. I'll now invite our Director of Public Works up to present his award. He is on vacation, yes. But do you want to explain why he received the award, though?
Nice try.
DPW Employee of the Year is Devin Martin. Devin is never afraid to do any chore, any project that we have. He's always looking out, how can we do it better? And he's a mentor to our younger people. And he makes a good teammate with Clint. So that's why I picked him for Employee of the Year.
Very well deserved, Devin. Thanks.
It's hard to outwork Clint, and Devin works.
Well said. Great addition to the team.
Our last member is here, so.
Yes.
Do you want to come up here? All right. So while the City of Gibraltar has historically provided annual employee awards to the Police Department, Fire Department, and Department of Public Works, many valuable and dedicated employees in the organization were left out of contention for this annual honor. To rectify this, we created the City Employee of the Year, which could be awarded to any employee throughout the organization. It is my honor to present the 2026 City of Gibraltar Employee Award to Chelsea Brad.
Yeah. Speech.
Chelsea Brad officially serves the city as the DPW and accounts payable clerk, but her impact extends far beyond her job title. In just 3 short years, Chelsea has become an indispensable member of the organization through her unwavering dedication, positive attitude, and willingness to help wherever needed. Whether staying after hours to help clean up a water leak in the ceiling, volunteering for special projects, or stepping in to support colleagues and departments across the city, Chelsea consistently goes above and beyond expectations. She welcomes residents with kindness and professionalism, making every visit to City Hall a more positive experience, while also helping new team members learn the organization and succeed in their roles. Through every challenge, Chelsea maintains an optimistic spirit that lifts those around her and strengthens the entire team. Her extraordinary commitment to service, teamwork, and the success of the city make her a truly deserving Employee of the Year. So congratulations.
I just want to thank City Administrator Witherspoon and department heads and all of our personnel for the incredibly well-deserved awards, but collectively for the amazing set of team members we have that make up the army that is the City of Gibraltar, serving you all and our neighbors. So just profusely thank you. With that, we will close the presentations and we will move on to consent agenda. As publicly noticed, you'll see items A through O. I would ask for a motion to approve items A through O.
Motion to approve consent agenda A through O.
Motion by Bosmer. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Lapointe. Any discussion? Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
Dill?
Yes.
LaPointe?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Bosmer?
Yes.
Motion carried. And with that, we will turn over to unfinished business, and I will pass the floor to City Administrator Witherspoon.
Thank you. So our first item of discussion is the public safety millage. In your packet, you have a pretty extensive explanation of answering some of the questions that were posed at the last council meeting, as well as providing additional documentation, specifically equipment lists. Just to summarize real quick, on June 24th, staff presented a proposal for a public safety millage. The purpose of this was twofold. The first was to fiscally prepare for ongoing and upcoming capital needs within the Public Safety Department. And the second was to relieve pressure from the Public Safety Department on the general fund, as it is 47% of the general fund expenditures, and the general fund is currently utilizing fund balance for operating expenses. So in your packet, you have responses to all of the concerns brought up on that meeting. The one I want to highlight for you is the table under 1, which is the 5-year general fund outlook. As you can see, if nothing happens and things continue course with the assumptions that were provided for both revenue and expenditures, you're looking at having a fund balance of only 6% in 5 years. So if a catastrophe happens, if there was a recession, we would not have any funds to fall back on. Well, we'd have 6% of funds to fall back on, which is not very significant at all. The other one I wanted to highlight for you, well, the other thing I wanted to highlight for you is in this packet, you also have what would be the resolution. We're not asking council to vote on this resolution right now. We did just want to get this language in front of you and to show you exactly what you'd be looking at and the decisions you'd be making. So essentially, it's kind of a plug and play, to be fair. So what you'd be looking at is exactly how many mills if you move forward with the resolution. We have both the police chief and our fire captain here, so we'd love to open the floor up to a discussion with council. Any outstanding questions, concerns, we'd love to address them all.
I'll kick it off. First off, thank you for putting the extensive amount of information together. Big shout out to Department of Public Safety, and I know that was Chief Bullard, Captain Schaefer, Fire Chief Simon for acting very quickly, including the requested inventory from council. This is all incredibly appreciated. Council, just for transparency, I had a chance to speak with Chief Bullard, Captain Schaefer, and some other department heads, including City Administrator Witherspoon. My biggest focus I want us to all consider, and what I expressed, was making sure we do this right and not rushed, and consider the timeline in front of us. While I appreciate that there's an election coming up, and while I can appreciate the time sensitivity to achieve that election, I think we need to think about this very carefully and dissect it accordingly, and I think we need to evaluate timeline options to make sure we do this right, not rushed. Do we need to do something, as City Administrator Witherspoon beautifully laid out? Absolutely. But I want to make sure we do not rush that process, and I would ask us to carefully consider that timeline accordingly. Does anybody have any questions or discussion based on the packet information provided by City Administrator Witherspoon? Councilman LaPointe.
I'll go with, thank you. I just wanted to ask the chief to clarify. I think there's some confusion about the role of the police officers. I don't know if it's relevant or not, but they are EMTs. I just wanted to make sure that things hadn't changed over the years. So do you mind giving us a little explanation when they go to a call and they are licensed EMT, like the equipment they carry with them and then the medical care that they do give if they're first on the scene?
Yes, my officers are emergency medical technicians. We do render care. We keep jump bags in the vehicle as well as AEDs. Included in our bags are we carry oxygen, we carry Narcan, nasal cannulas. I mean, we do all the care that the EMTs in the fire department do. We just cannot transport a patient.
Thank you.
Because we can't put a patient in the back of a police vehicle.
Okay.
But we do render care, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as safety of our residents. I always felt like, for some reason, we have a leg up in other communities because nobody has that.
Yep.
So, I mean, that is a wonderful benefit. I'd like to see that continue. I just want to make sure that that is still the way it was operating. The second thing was, I did mention one thing, and I would, if we're still working through this, the 1% that I mentioned that we can collect without a vote of the people is to pay for their pension. And so I would love if we could just add a line, if you're willing to, how that would affect these numbers
I think that's a very
over the 5 years. It might, so then maybe it's not 2.5, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but until we get a look at that. So I had asked for that and I didn't see it on there.
So effectively, it would equal out to a 2.5 in the end, because with 1 mil, you would be covering very simply the pension. That's all you'd be covering.
Yep.
You would not be covering any of the additional salary costs, any of the benefits, and most crucially, you would not be covering any of the capital equipment expenses. And as is laid out, much of our capital equipment needs are critical items. If you don't mind, I want to turn it over to Captain Schaefer to explain some of those items and the criticality, especially in context of the most recent fire we just had.
So all of our big equipment purchases, the capital equipment, whether it be a fire truck or our air packs, all have dates on them. Our air packs are currently 2007 models. According to NFPA standards, they are out of date by 2 models, 2013 and the 2015. If something were to happen at a fire and OSHA was to come in, because OSHA adopted NFPA as law, that would mean large fines for the city, right? Now, the unfortunate part is it's over $250,000 for new air packs for the fire department. So with the millage, it would help offset the cost to the city. An ambulance is typically 7 to 10 years. Our number 1 ambulance, Bravo 1, is overdue by 6 years. It's 16 years old. It's about $300,000. Our ladder truck is coming up on its date to be taken out of service, not even as a reserve. And that's $1.4 to $1.8 million for a new truck. All of these are by NFPA standards. Our SCBA's are NFPA standard 1981. That's the serviceable life of a SCBA. Our vehicles also fall in line with those. These are huge investments that the city needs to make to help the residents. And unfortunately, our budget just doesn't currently allow that.
If I may add to the discussion, are there any waivers or anything for that? For example, if we're going off of year alone on these vehicles and this equipment, that is one factor in the grand scheme of things, especially when we have $1 million rig sitting in the garage back there. I just hate to go off of just the year because of the standard. I would assume there's some type of waiver for communities like us. I mean, most of the country has to be in our situation with our population level, not to have any type of waiver that we can apply for or some type of I mean, we go for yearly inspections. I just struggle with thinking there's nothing we can do with our equipment that is functioning, that we've maintained, we've done proper maintenance and care, to have to replace regularly. When we talk about the larger big ticket items, you know, that we're putting in for a ladder truck, $1 million rig, I mean, have we investigated that? Have we looked through that entire standard? I would assume it's a pretty big standard. I mean, I'm more familiar with obviously manufacturing standards, so not in your realm at all, but I would, have you guys taken a look at that? Is there anybody we can seek out? I mean,
The NFPA standard is not, I shouldn't say it's, the NFPA is a standard. OSHA adopted it as law, so it is a law for OSHA. If somebody was to get hurt on that rig because it is outdated and doesn't meet current safety standards, that is OSHA fines to the city. Yes, it can still be used, but that probability of somebody getting hurt is up to $65,000 per incident that happens on that rig.
and have we validated the concern with OSHA? I mean, have we brought it up with them? Because I don't believe that's only laws can be passed by the state legislature, not by a regulatory agency. So they would be putting down regulations on us.
Correct.
I'm just, so that wouldn't necessarily be law, that would just be the regulatory agency putting that down on us. So have we reached out to MIOSHA or the federal occupational safety and hazard to see what they're, because I hate to keep beating a dead horse here, I just, basing it off of age alone, there's no way that that standard doesn't allow for some type of waiver or anything.
The standard has timeframes in it. So from 10 to 15 years is when you
just
consider
based on years,
yes,
correct, but
that's
not
what
on
they
the
base
useful.
it off of, because they make every 2 to 3 years NFPA is gone through and standards are updated. So every 2 to 3 years the standard's being updated. So like our ladder truck currently has no LED marker lights on it, emergency lights. That was a standard that was changed over 15 years ago that we don't currently meet.
So would that, for example, what would we do to be compliant? We would install LED lights to that? I mean, would that be the cost to become compliant with the standard? And if so, who do we have internally reviewing these standards to making sure our equipment is compliant. I mean, if it's LED lights, couldn't we, I mean, in this simple example, I understand it could become more complicated, but, I mean, are we reviewing those standards to making sure we're implementing?
If I may, I think, and I'm not trying to discount the nature of your discussion, Captain Schaefer, I think what we're hearing is the insight is we are a small community, 5,000 people shouldering the burden of a significant cost deficit in context of the millions of dollars you just highlighted in equipment. The insight is perhaps the standard, is there waivers or other considerations for a smaller community? And we could get in the weeds on the details of each component of that. But Captain Schaefer, I think it's, if there's something you want to follow up with council on, I think everybody could be educated on that topic. I just don't want to go back and forth on the details.
No, I
unless
understand,
they're
and I
material.
appreciate it, yeah.
As far as
Yeah.
to be recertified, you have to remount the truck. So you'd have to buy a new truck, and you'd take the back of the truck and put it on a new truck. So you're still spending the cost of a new vehicle.
So I think, if I may, for efficiency, the insight that we could probably take as a follow-up, because I know you all do a ton of work on certification, OSHA interface, policy updates, equipment maintenance and prevention. Thank you for that work. The insight might be, given our situation, perhaps a follow-up to educate council on where those standards lie, what optionality we have to address them, or at least get closer to them outside of full replacement, which is $5 million you just quoted today, right? As an example, is I think the question that's being asked.
For informational use, we've used our options. That
Yep.
truck is our backup truck currently. We have an engine that's 5 years old.
Yep.
So we moved it to a reserve, as a reserve fleet. It's not our first due on any vehicles. There are no waivers. Like I said, if somebody gets hurt on it because of we don't meet these safety standards, we're now in an OSHA violation.
Yep.
So, other communities get away with it in the hopes that, yeah, it meets its pump certification, it meets certain standards, but they're hoping that nobody gets hurt on it, that these incidences don't happen, that you don't go through a red light and somebody doesn't see it because your lights aren't up to date, or that everybody has their seat belts on because you don't have the warning devices like our newer truck has. So.
Agreed. And I think that's why it's a good follow-up for us to take as an education exercise for all of us, because obviously I think all of us sitting here in this chambers would want our people to be safe and to not have liability or exposure for the city.
Oh, absolutely.
We are well aware, and thanks to the beautiful work you all have done on the massive deficit we need to address, big picture. And so I think that follow-up will be helpful. So we know what we can support immediately relative to what we can consider for millage purposes to make sure our people are safe and that we're not exposing ourselves to liability. Is that a fair takeaway? We could go back into the details.
No, you're, exactly, and maybe, again, I wasn't, if I may just clarify, I'm not saying that you guys aren't doing or you're doing something wrong. I'm, again, as I had mentioned at the last meeting, educate me. Like I said, I have struggles understanding that. If you can help me to better understand that, if you're right, I'm with you on that. You know, if that's what the forces to be are putting down on us, I'm okay, I get it. You know, I just want to exhaust every avenue before we consider an additional tax.
I understand that. The unfortunate part in the fire service is there sometimes isn't extra options. You have the standards and that's what you're stuck with. That's a very unfortunate part, not only to the fire department, but to the taxpayers that are going to be voting on this millage eventually, so.
And I appreciate it. And I think a follow-up on the actions there, per my opening commentary, I think one ask I would have for council, which obviously our department heads and city administrator Witherspoon can follow up on, is what is our optionality, right? Since this is a discussion tonight, maybe at our next meeting or whenever you think the timeline's appropriate. If we wanted to hit this upcoming election, what's our timeline? If we wanted to take other alternate timelines to give us more time to do this right, not rush, what would those options look like and what are the pros and cons? Because I recognize there'll be resource considerations, dollar considerations, et cetera.
And another thing, if I may, I very much appreciate the equipment list. That was one of my asks at the last council meeting. I very much appreciate that. I've got a second ask, is if we can make it more condensed. It seems more scattered for our understanding. Everything it seems to be scattered on one pagers. I appreciate it, but if we can, I don't know, put it into some type of a matrix, easily digestible when looking at it and not scrolling.
Yeah.
That might be my request, but.
It was difficult because it was in Excel.
Yeah, it's
No,
a printing situation.
Done
like-
very
So if there's
Yeah.
any other better way to
it-
present that, I would appreciate that. I mean, like I said, I was like, I loved it. It was detailed. I mean, you gave me your shredder, the TVs that are back there. Very detailed. Love it. That's what I was asking for. Just if it could be presented some other way for me.
If I may, so two things. One, I can speak to optionality for timing as well.
Amazing.
But first, I just want to address that it was an Excel file, and we can get you the Excel file. But when you go to print an Excel file with a whole workbook with that many tabs and that many columns, it printed the way you received it. So we can provide that to council. Optionality for timing. So if, there are two things here. One is timing for the taxpayers. So as a reminder, there are numerous different mill options that we presented to council. One of them being 2.5 mills, which we think is the absolute minimum that would create a positive impact for our general fund and our Department of Public Safety as a whole. If we were to go with 2.5 mills, for the taxpayers, it may make the most sense to do that and put it into effect prior to them receiving the next summer tax bill. Otherwise, you face a situation where you are lowering their tax bill, they begin to count on a lowered tax bill, and then you have them vote on raising the tax bill. So that's just a logical thing to consider. The other thing is we do have an election coming up in November. So if we wanted to hit that and prevent the situation where they see a lower tax and then a higher tax, granted, they vote on it, of course, that's important as well. You would need to either have a special election or have council approve the resolution presented in the packet with the numbers filled in by at the absolute latest, the first meeting in August. And we could always, of course, kick the can down the road a few years, but then we're in a more dire situation as the presentation at the last meeting explained.
Two things, if I may, add to the discussion. One, what is our current, due to Headley, what is that current rate from the 2.5 that we passed 5 years ago? Because due to Headley, it should be down to 2.1, if not a little lower, I believe.
I'll defer to our finance
Two numbers that I got in mind is
director.
1.9 or 2.1, so I don't know what.
Well, we can take, this is a
Yeah,
discussion,
just
so we
as a
can take it as a
follow-up.
follow-up. I don't want anybody to feel pressure to get.
Yeah,
type of
no,
information down.
no. So what that looks like, because if we put forth a 2.5, we would be raising the taxes, because that's more than they would be, more of the rate that they would be paying at this moment in time. So if we put a 2.5, we couldn't say that we were replacing one for another. I see where we would be going with that, but that's not entirely accurate, because we would be, due to Headley, right now, it would be a lower tax rate. Though though property and taxable values have increased, their tax rate has decreased to level out the best possible,
Two things for that. So first, it is 2.3985 right now, so it would effectively be an increase of 0.11 if we're being generous.
2.389, you said?
2.3985.
985, a little.
Okay. And then the second thing in regards to their property values increasing, but the millage rate decreasing, that's also part of the problem we're experiencing as a local government, and governments across the country are experiencing this right now as well. Property values are not increasing at the same rate as inflation. It's not increasing at the same rate as salaries, benefits, health insurance. As we know, we just had to budget 12% for our health insurance increase this year. So when we're talking about a 2% property value increase, it's not even touching the needs we have, and that's why we're in the situation we're in right now. So I fully understand the desire to not raise anyone's taxes. Trust me, it's I'm not even a year here still as administrator. The last thing I want to do is say to you guys, you should raise taxes on the residents. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do and what we as staff want to do is set our government up for success so we can provide consistent resources to our residents and improve those resources over time without having shortfalls. And by shortfalls, I mean that if we have a shortfall, that means a piece of equipment's out of service, whether it be a fire truck, a police car, or a DPW dump truck. That means someone somewhere is not getting the same level of service that they deserve here as residents. So that's why we propose that. And again, I fully understand the fact that this will be uncomfortable for some people. The question before council is, how do you want to square the situation we're in? There are options. You can square it a different way. You can square it by cutting services. You can square it by cutting staff members. Those are options that, from my short time with you all, I don't think you want to do. So that's why we came to you with this proposal of a public safety millage.
And I appreciate that, Rachel. Then my second point concerning optionality for elections. My opinion, again, this is for discussion. We can fall back on that. Personally, if we're going to put this up for the vote of the people, and I think that's the greatest thing possible is that we can put this for the vote of the people at the end of the day, regardless of what we decide up here, it goes to the vote of the people. I would hope for it to be on a November ballot, whether it's this November or November of 2027. I do not like seeing, and I've matured with age, do not like seeing millages or bonds put on special elections or primary votes. There's typically a lower voter turnout. I believe it doesn't give the biggest possibility for residents to turn out in an election to be able to cast their vote on something that may or may not affect them. Because as we saw at a city election, even in November, we saw only, 25% of the vote turnout. Imagine we're voting on a millage that's 550 people deciding what a millage rate would be for the other 5,000 people. So I would caution on the side of, if we do go down this route, which, as I've mentioned before, and I've been pretty consistent on it, I don't support any new tax. But if we do put this up for a vote of the people, that at least we put it on a November ballot to where there's the greatest chance for a higher voter turnout. And not to mention, I believe the state legislature is also considering moving elections to where, or making elections to where you cannot put these types of ballot measures on there to where there is a higher turnout. So with that, I'm done with my blabbing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Any other comments while you're, oh, go ahead.
I wasn't done, I'm sorry.
please.
So I just had one thing. So I still think if we're discussing options, we should look at the 1%. If we toss it out, that's fine. At least we'll have some more information there. This is another option, and I don't mean to, I know that's not going to fix a problem. But we had a problem this year because we had a big check we had to write from the general fund to the pension fund, and then capital equipment couldn't be purchased. So if we have another way to do that without a vote of the people, regardless, millage 2.5 or not, we should be I think, I'd like to look at the pros and cons if y'all agree of what that would do.
I think it's a really
Having
good
said
suggestion
that,
for the timeline.
I'm thinking about the timing also. I feel a little rushed on this. I know that we have to address it. We have a pretty healthy fund balance. Can we wait 1 year? Probably. But, and I'm not trying to bury my head in the sand. This is, it's going to have to happen. But we have data in our council packet that, what a data center could bring to a community, millions of dollars. It could. We're not sure where that's going to land. And if not them, then who? Maybe somebody else. We don't know. But I think that we should give that a little bit of time to play out. The third thing is specific questions, and this is for the city attorney or you, Mayor, on the language as drafted. So I got the impression when I read this that these were not going to be dollars allocated towards personnel, but the language does say it is for personnel. So I'd like to sort that.
The related personnel language in there?
Yeah, and if there is a movement, like the big elephant in the room, are we moving to a part-time fire department? Is that a goal of council? If it is, let's say it out loud. Let's be transparent, let's fund it. But if it's not, then I would like to know What personnel? Who? Because this is important as, or more than equipment.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes, so I can address that. So as presented at our last council meeting, there were 4 different options actually for council. All of them included some money being allocated towards staffing and benefits, which would be your personnel costs. 2 of the options included doing a part-time fire department. One of the discussions council needs to have is what mill number do you go with? If you go with the 2.5, which is consistent with what the voters approved for the capital water and sewer millage, then we are not looking at doing a part-time fire department. We're looking at just doing $150,000 for capital replacement, and then the rest of it being split evenly between staffing and benefits. That would be $126,000 for each of those. So it's not meant staffing and benefits.
And what, I'm sorry?
Benefits.
Benefits, thank
Yeah.
you.
You'll have these
So-
slides, Councilwoman LaPointe, just so you
Yeah,
have them.
so this is to offset our costs. We currently have as previously stated, they are our biggest department and our largest cost. So the staffing cost currently is about 1.6 million just for the staffing alone. That doesn't include the benefits, which is another $700,000. Now, for part-time fire, we didn't even bring that in until 4 mills. And that is, again, an option for council to consider. So for the sake of transparency, we're not trying to hide anything. We're trying to provide council with options of what they could present to the public for a vote.
And then can you explain the dispersed to the Gibraltar Downtown Development Authority? Because we have
Yes.
no jurisdiction over that
Yes.
governing body, and that's
So that's a great
concerning.
question. So our downtown development authority is paid for by a TIF, a tax increment financing district. So every property within that TIF district, they have a baseline tax rate. Everything above that baseline tax rate goes to the DDA. So it essentially, if you start here and then the property values increase here, this gap right here goes to the DDA. Now, we can have the DDA pass a resolution allowing the city to have those funds for the 2.5 public safety millage or whatever range of millage council.
Can I chime in?
Please.
Yeah.
So the whole island subdivision, that entire subdivision, although it's residential, everything above that baseline gets funneled to the DDA to spend instead of the general fund.
Yes,
So
and
okay.
Councilman Cox and I actually spoke about this on Friday, and I immediately reached out to our attorney, so we're working on that as well. I know it's a discussion with council, not to get too off topic here, but council has discussed separating out the planning commission and the DDA. So I'm beginning conversations with our city attorney about if we do that, is there an opportunity to redistrict or realign the boundaries of the DDA to make it more proportionate?
And that would make our percentage of funds in the general fund in ratio to public safety. For instance, that would change that ratio.
It would, yes.
So that's another option we're going to explore, correct?
Yeah, we're actively exploring it.
Agreed.
Yes.
I'll align with per earlier commentary on timeline considerations. I think you had some really good insights here. Anything else anybody wanted to add for discussion purposes?
I guess I would just like to see us, I hear what you're saying on right, not rushed, and am in some level of agreement there. I don't necessarily think that significant delay in putting this forward is going to make anything. I think we'll be recycling the same considerations over and over again at some stage. I do think we need some time, but I don't think it needs to be extensive. because the other things that we're waiting for, the ifs out there, the ifs of if a data center, if a development, if of this, if of that, I just don't think that's how we should base our decision-making. I think we should make it on what we know is happening at current, and things that may or may not happen, they will always be present. And I think that we need to be somewhat diligent in getting a solution put in front of the voters to choose.
I 100% agree, and I think the follow-up on timeline and optionality and pros and cons, I think will hopefully address that for all of us, and including some of the things you just brought up, like the DDA and other components. Then we're just more informed, positional, gives us more time to engage the community and put this out. Any other comments? Rachel, thank you so much for the advanced information. Department of Public Safety, thank you. I know this is a lot of work that went into this, but all investments will be rewarded in the sense of we have evolved information to understand the position and where we need to go.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Rachel, back to you.
Thank you. So at the June 8th City Council meeting, Council directed me to present options for engaging an industrial hygienist or a tax consultant to assist the city in evaluating the potential impacts of data centers. So I have in your packet 2 different options for you. The first is to publish a request for proposals for both. The fiscal impact and timelines are included in the packet. The second option is to incorporate the requirements into the data center ordinance. In March, the city entered into an agreement with McKenna for $6,000 to develop a data center ordinance, leveraging their experience in this field. In the current draft form of the ordinance, both of these requirements are included in the ordinance as requirements for any prospective applicant to provide through the proposal process. It is staff's recommendation that council proceed with option 2, which aligns the timing, costs, and scope of technical analysis and actual development proposals, allowing the city to obtain more precise and relevant information when it is most actionable. We also have our city planner here tonight to speak a little bit more about this. If I could just invite Jane Dixon up to speak.
Thank you, City Administrator Witherspoon, and thank you to the mayor and council members for having me here tonight. I think Administrator Witherspoon highlighted the important points here. I will say the best practice that I've seen other communities work through is that option 2, to incorporate it when you get to a specific development proposal. I can understand the desire to want to know the unknowns and the what ifs with hiring someone in the preliminary phase as you're working through your ordinance, but there are so many what ifs in this realm. To be able to completely foolproof something is, why we create regulation where the reporting occurs and then that evaluation occurs at that moment. So when a development proposal would come in, that's when you, with option 2, would have the financial burden on the applicant, and it would still be hired through the city. It wouldn't be relying on the applicant's information. You would be hiring an outside party, but the escrow that you would receive from the applicant at that point would cover the costs for the specifics as they relate to the development proposal for both the industrial hygienist and then any sort of economic impact or tax analysis. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but.
Question for you.
Yeah.
My initial push for this to be pursued was in light of my role here and my participation in the zoning ordinance steering committee. And so I just want to be clear, maybe you can help me clarify, very depth packet information. My hope for engaging an industrial hygienist or a tax consultant or both was to help it inform our ongoing zoning ordinance revisions related to data centers. And so how option 2 would not be that route, if I'm hearing correctly, or talk to me.
Yeah, so go ahead if you want to answer.
Thank you. we'll see if you want to add anything, but in March, the reason why council entered into an agreement with McKenna for $6,000 was to provide their expertise in this realm, in working with industrial hygienists and working with other experts in the field to create a data center ordinance for us.
And I appreciate that. So then maybe specific to Bill on that,
So
I
I
have
can,
not spoken to or been engaged with an industrial hygienist or tax consultant. Has that already been done by yourself? Is that what I'm hearing?
no, it has not. What I'm saying is that, so option one, I believe, and you can correct me, Administrator Witherspoon, I think outlines the route you just described, Mayor, in that it would be issuing an RFP, you would then be retaining that expertise and then incorporating that expertise into the zoning ordinance. Is that correct?
Yes.
My understanding?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, can I make a motion?
Please.
Make a motion to publish RFP for industrial hygienists and tax consultants to review into any proposed data center or in the data center ordinance.
Is there a second for said motion? Not hearing a second. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I
Thank
just
you,
wanted
sorry.
to be available for
Okay.
questions. Thank you.
So I just want to be clear, at least, unless somebody has a motion to make right now.
So I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to incorporate the application-funded industrial hygiene and tax consultant reviews into the proposed data center ordinance.
And to be, okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, okay, thank you.
So when we talked about this prior, if I may.
Yeah, please,
explore,
please.
Because the motion, so I looked up like what we would be asking the assessor to do, and they can't do anything because we don't have anything. You know, you need all these requirements for them to assess what it's gonna generate in revenue. And so I thought it was a good idea. I was trying to be supportive, but I know we don't have the information we need to do, to execute this. That's why I'm,
No,
I'm
and
thinking,
if I- Cody,
and
if I-
I want them to pay for it, excuse me. I forgot
sorry.
that
You're
at
right.
one point.
That's where my assessment comes from, that if we don't put out RFPs and burden the cost within the community, that should be on the applicant who's bringing the development forth.
Yeah,
But those costs should be associated with it.
If I may, sorry, please. So hear you, Councilman LaPointe. I want to be clear, though, for me, what I just heard was option one assumes that we've already paid McKenna. And if I
We're
may, if I
ongoing those payments.
ongoing payments to McKenna. And if I may, I heard it was because they are quarterbacking interface with experts such as the ones mentioned, industrial hygienists. That's what I just heard, which is what I had asked for, because I want to make sure we're building out the most robust possible zoning ordinance language on data centers. None of us are industrial hygienists. None of us have any experience in that, nor does a city planner or other parties. I'm hearing now that as of today, we've not engaged one of them in context of zoning ordinance development for data centers. That's a problem for me, because where is the expertise driving the development of that language? Why I'm saying that's important is because I want that to be incorporated in our ongoing zoning ordinance revisions for data centers. What you just are saying you want to do is you want to say, let's wait for the open door for an applicant who's going to come in and have a right to due process on a development project, and then engage industrial hygienists. That doesn't give you proactive guardrails or language to help protect you from downside risks that you don't know. Like, I have a severely hard time understanding why we would postpone that.
I agree, and the purpose in my opinion, of why I voted in favor of the moratorium is so that we're doing the data collection prior. I feel if we wait until after there's an ordinance and we lift a moratorium, we're letting, it's a Trojan horse, we've let down the gates of the fort, and
100%.
then by that point, we have no control, no
100%.
defense, nothing in the way to slow that down or give us time to breathe and think. And to be able to put out an RFP doesn't mean we're going to grant that proposal just yet.
Agreed.
But it gives us the options if we want to continue down that road.
And furthermore, for a tax consultant, if I may, I understand there's no specifics to evaluate on any specific project. We're in a moratorium. We're not even doing this for any specific project whatsoever. I have asked a simple question, which is, if we are going to pursue development projects, I think we should have a pretty crisp understanding of upside. And clearly, one glaring upside to consider would be tax revenue. And we don't need to know the specifics to generate analyses on ranges and considerations. We don't need to know specifics to understand legislative landscape from somebody who is an expert in that topic. None of us are experts in that topic. So I'm going to make it very clear. I have asked for this for months. Here we are with the consideration. You will have zero support from me to just push the ball down the field and say, let's engage the experts when we have a project and everything is rocking and rolling. I cannot support that. I do not think that's the best interest of the community.
So is your intention, though, so we're going to go out for RFQs if I withdraw the motion?
Correct.
So then they're going to come in, so are we going to pay our money? We're going to fund
We will
these
be able to
studies, right?
evaluate, we'll be able to evaluate the cost of those proposals in context of our needs. And I would suggest that we get an RFP out. We take inventory of what our options are based on said process. We then can make a decision to say where we need to engage based on the information we have, and we plug them into an ongoing revision. Please help me if I'm missing something.
So if I may,
Go ahead.
No, please.
So,
Rob, please. Rob, please.
I generally agree for two reasons. One, we have to come up with criteria for which the applicants must comply. And prior to having those qualifications in there, we can't give them ex post facto rules and then ask them to pay a blank check for it. So it's kind of a couple of big issues there, but please.
so I want to clarify what I said earlier. When I said we hired McKenna as our experts and they were talking to other people, McKenna is actively working on data center ordinances for numerous other communities. We also have our city attorney who is talking with his colleagues, and he is reviewing the draft data center ordinance. So yes, there are a lot of what ifs and a lot of unknowns, but we are working actively with people who are evaluating this field in real time, and they are understanding what we legally have available to us as parameters and what is being seen in other communities.
Yeah, if I may, the only item I wanted to add and why I came back up here is that the draft is not going to be empty of regulation and standards as it relates to what the industrial hygienist will be evaluating. And I just wanted that to be clear, that it's not some, blank canvas with a blank check. There's, parameters around both of those items. So that was my item to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think.
I'll make a motion
Thank
to
you.
withdraw my motion.
Thank
I mean, I withdraw my motion. I don't have to make a motion to withdraw.
so-
I'm just withdrawing my motion.
Again, I'll make a motion to publish RFP for industrial hygienists and tax consultants into proposed data center ordinance and potential data center properties or.
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support. Any further discussion on this matter?
My initial thought, again, two things. One, I understand the additional burden that it puts on our staff. Second, I think that there's nothing that says we have to go forward with choosing these. We now set a baseline for what the anticipated cost expenditure would be for the city or for a private developer trying to comply with that requirement.
Well said.
I agree with Councilman Molnar on that, and I do want to emphasize, I understand the work that this will put on staff, but I think we need to get this right. At my comments earlier about that Trojan horse, I don't want to let down the gates of the fort and not be prepared, so.
Appreciate it.
Other than that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Back to you.
So the next item is for Bill's reference. As a reminder, council, this is a topic, where Councilman Molnar is recused, and he's going to recuse himself. because it is flow air for work that has already been completed. This would normally be just on the general bills reference that council approves under the consent agenda, but because a council member has a financial tie to it, it is separated.
Council, is there a motion to approve bills reference number 1-A?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Do you want to roll on this?
Yes.
Roll call, Clerk Tomasic, please.
Mulnar.
Yes.
No.
You get to abstain, you've already,
Yeah.
Flow air.
I thought this was 1-A.
Yeah, it's flow air.
Thought F was the one I was staying out of. All right, well, I abstain.
Schumate.
yes.
Bosmer.
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Lapointe.
Yes.
McNabb.
Yes.
Motion carried. Back to you.
Thank you. So this next item is another McKenna item. So council entered into an agreement with McKenna for building department services 3 years ago in 2023. Subsequently, after removal of previous city planners, the city also began working with McKenna for planning services. There was no formal agreement ever put into place. However, our planners currently have multiple projects ongoing, including a complete zoning ordinance rewrite, a data center zoning ordinance, and various other projects. So in an effort to save the city money while maintaining the current services McKenna has provided to our residents, I reached out to McKenna to inquire about renegotiating our original agreement and formalizing the terms for ongoing planning services. So in summary, what this agreement gives us is 5% additional in revenue for the city from our cost-sharing agreement. Currently, our cost-sharing agreement provides 95% of building department revenues to McKenna. This new agreement would change that to 90%. This would increase revenue for our city by roughly 10 to 20,000. Caveat here, depending on volume of building permits. So it really is dependent on how many building permits they do. Now, the one downside here is the formulation of planning services does incorporate their current planning fees that they are utilizing, which do have increases. So for our two primary expenses for principal planner and associate planner, you're looking at $10 extra an hour for the principal planner and $8 extra an hour for the associate planner. However, the additional in cost sharing, as long as building permits stay the same or increase, we would still see a revenue upside even with these additional costs for planning. And again, we have both Chuck Earl who's our building inspector, and Jane Dixon from McKenna here to answer any additional questions or concerns council may have.
And Laura, shout out to Laura. I see
And
you.
Laura.
Council, a motion will be in your court if you so choose.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for professional and technical planning building services with McKenna Associates for an interim term of 3 years.
Do we have a second?
I will second.
Second from Till, thank you. Discussion, council, please.
I have some thoughts on this. When we brought on McKenna in this particular arrangement, our expenditures on building permits went from 80,000 or 88,000 as a community to 300,000 within a year. Permit fees jumped up from probably almost 80% within a year and a half. The residents are paying for that indirectly through permit costs. I think that McKenna has done a good job for us. I think that the cost that it is costing the residents is a burden. I think it's a big cost burden. I think that we have the ability to do a shorter term interim period if we are running into a July 24th ending of or expiration of a current agreement. Although I do understand that this is for planning, well, it's planning and building, I guess. My opinion is that We went from, when we were contracting to Trenton, for $88,000 to our residents to well over $300,000 a year to our residents. Exceptional increases in permit costs. Yes, there has been benefit to the city's funds, but to the people that we serve, the residents, they've shouldered the burden of the additional costs, where most of that money has made it to Northville, and a fraction of it stayed here in Gibraltar. I think that, I think we could spend some additional time getting it right, not rushed, and thinking of how we can better serve our residents with respect to this financial burden.
Just to address that real quickly, this agreement, both Attorney Bologna and I made sure it was included. The city retains the right to end any individual service or the entire agreement with McKenna as long as we provide proper notice, which Attorney Bologna, I believe we put in just 30 days, correct?
That's what I asked for, is that
Yes.
what was agreed upon?
Yes.
I'd also like to
Okay.
add, I agree with Mr. Molnar's opinion, Councilman Molnar's opinion of 3 years is a little bit longer than I'd like to see as well.
So it sounds like there's some concerns by multiple individuals on timing. One question to consider is perhaps McKenna and/or Rachel can speak to that objection just raised, right? So 88 to 300K. How unique is that to Gibraltar in context of rising permit fees? What are our surrounding communities doing? What was the rationale behind those fees? Who controls them? Like, I'd love some more context there, I think, which would be important given Councilman Molnar's perspective. Yeah, please. I think it's just an important discussion point.
I can try to answer it only because I came to you not too long ago about the fee schedule. And most of that fee schedule stayed in line to what was already being charged. I didn't really change too much. I just kind of refreshed it up a little bit. So I didn't have time to, I don't know what Trenton, I don't know the agreement with Trenton, I don't know what the difference is, but I don't know that I don't know where the 300, like where your number's coming from, so I can kind of compare it, maybe do some research and have a more formal presentation on that.
They'll be on our budget numbers that we've approved over the years.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that.
And I think, sorry, and if I wasn't clear, I think like a breakdown, like, for example, I'll just be blunt. When I, speaking in my time in office, and you and I have navigated this with all the folks that have been here. Switching to McKenna highlighted a massive deficiency in process and information capture and executing against our ordinance. So I'm only speaking that very generally, right? And we've all rode that wave together. So I guess my question would be, like Councilman Moore's point, we don't want to impose more costs unnecessarily on residents. Is that 88 to 300K, which I agree with him on the budgetary analysis, is that because we have more permits? Is that because we've raised costs on permits? Like, what's the breakdown there? I think would be helpful for all of us.
I can tell you that year one in 23 or 4, the biggest jump number was because of enacting for the first time in 13 years the rental ordinance. That was the big jump that caused it to go from 80 or 88 to
All right,
higher number.
this is the date.
But that didn't account for the entire jump.
But I think we should dissect that for sure, because I need to get educated on that.
Okay, so the rental is every 3 years. So from the time that we receive the contract, so you're approaching some of the rental renewals.
Got it.
This upcoming year and then into next year, because I did stagger that out a little bit, so they weren't all hitting at one time, just so it staggers it out for people.
Yeah.
Some of those bigger unit buildings, they don't all renew at the same time. It's just, it's hard to try and juggle that. It's a really big financial burden on some of these big complexes to put all that money out front to do like 17 buildings at a time. So to stagger those dates a little bit for the renewal time, so that all that money isn't gonna be coming in
Not like a lump.
at one time for those buildings. It's gonna be staggered. But I can certainly, try and dig back to, what's in BSNA and what Trenton.
I think it's all context we should have.
To what, we've pulled since we've been here.
Yeah, because Councilman Molnar, I stand with you on that. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm imposing unnecessary costs to residents. I think in that, what I'm hearing is we had an onslaught of enforcement of a ordinance requirement that was not enforced for 13 years. And so that incurred a wave of cost, right? And so to your point, that's going to play the numerics. I just think we should dissect that. I don't want to impose more burden on residents or business owners investing in our community. I just, maybe some more data we need here. But I'll say bluntly, like the McKenna staff I've worked with, including leadership, Sam's not here, have been phenomenal to work with, very receptive to resource considerations, seemingly bringing us up to speed on executing the way we should under our ordinances. So I'll thank you for that. But I hear that there's concerns around timing, and then the analytics are important. So I'd love that follow-up.
Mr. Mayor, while there's still a motion on the floor, I agree with your point. Thank you for highlighting that for us. I think we do need some more time. What would, if I'm correct, 24th is the deadline. We don't meet until the 27th. That would require a council meeting in the interim. Is there appetite for that in the interim, or am I understanding that incorrectly? Because I'm about to withdraw my motion or my support, and
Well, and I also, on that note, before you answer, I heard a shorter duration contract allows us to achieve the same objective with the understanding that we're protected by a 30-day notice if we needed to go another path. I just don't want to overcomplicate this. And
would
we don't
that
need to.
satisfy concerns for the interim to where we can break that down? Because I'm hearing from my colleagues.
Yeah, please.
Through the chair, of course, but would there be,
I mean,
can we look at a shorter term to where we can break that down?
We may be able to, but then I may not be able to get the additional 5% in revenue sharing. Because that was, again, this was a big negotiation, and my main point with them is we need additional revenue. That's why we landed at 3 years.
So let's maybe just to put this back in discussion, the permit fees or the other elements, we all need that follow-up. So I love you raised that. Does that have any material impact on the agreement it stands today with the downside risk managed with a 30-day agreement exit plan?
If there's a 30-day exit plan, and I mean, I'm going to try and come up with the words here. I'm smirking because I don't understand the difference, I guess. If we are in practice entering into a 30-day contract that they will give us 10% on, they will agree with us on a 10% for 3 years, but not for one. But 30 days is, that's my understanding. And I guess I'm probably not saying it very cleanly.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, if we have a 30-day out on it, then if I saying 3 years now versus 1 year, fine.
I think the teams have worked hard to negotiate the terms of this agreement. I think there's some follow-up data points we have to look at. I think we have a downside risk protection if we want to explore other avenues, but I don't want to risk the continuity of our partnership in
Yeah,
context
and that is understandable. Again, I don't recall in '23 if this was bid out with other outside vendors or not. I don't. Yeah, you're right. It was not.
And it was not bid out. It was brought to us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for cutting you
No,
off. It was
please
brought in light of Trenton and their building department and their, I won't say it, but in light of Trenton having their building department and some
staffing challenges.
Concerns, I'll put it that way. Our neighbors to the north, it was brought to our attention, and at the time, it certainly was more, we had more appetite to it because we were actually starting to, at least this is my point of view of it when I voted on it in '23. Appetite was that we would start to capture some of the permitting fees that we weren't ever capturing prior, because Trenton got everything due to the recession.
Yes.
I believe, my understanding was that we got rid of the building department, let Trenton take it over because we were hemorrhaging during the recession, and then here we fast forward '23, concerns with Trenton, and then we wanted to capture something, and with the contract that was proposed, I don't think there was ever RFPs bid process for it. It was just put in our lap.
And subsequently, there was also not that process for the planning.
Yeah.
100%. And you and I navigated with the planner side. Can I just be really blunt? Right now, we have concerns, and there's other pathways we can reevaluate them with a 30-day downside risk. Right now, you have an agreement that is agreed upon that raises our revenue sharing with our active partner who is in our offices each and every day serving our community. I would suggest council considers pursuing said agreement for that blunt reason. If you want to evaluate other options, meaning go out to RFP, assess other details below it, then please, you have the right to do that. But can we get back to the point at hand? I think we're,
Real quick, just to clarify.
Yeah, well.
Thank you.
The contract language that is before council states,
60 days.
yeah, notwithstanding the
Which-
foregoing, the city may, in its sole discretion, terminate this agreement in its entirety or cancel any individual service or combination of services provided under this agreement upon 60 days prior written notice to the consultant.
so
I-
clarification.
Yeah, I apologize, and that is the language that Attorney Bologna gave to me to send to McKenna, so that is concurrent, but it is 60 days, not 30 days.
Council, please consider my words if you don't mind, unless there's further discussion.
That last thing I add is the consultant may terminate the agreement upon 90 days of written prior notice.
Yes.
So it's 60 for us, 90 for them.
Councilman Point, sorry, I didn't.
Thank
No, I'm not in the construction business, but like, when people do work around our community, I expect them to pull a permit if a permit needs to be paid, and I expect them to pay for that. So if this is kind of making me feel like we hired a great, McKenna Associates worked for this city years ago, they did a great job. I think they're doing a great job now, and it almost feels like we're questioning or that they're doing their job. I think they're doing a good job, and we set the fees, and they collect the fees, and that's the way it's supposed to work. And now we're going to get more money for the city.
With all due respect, Councilwoman, the contractor physically pays for the permit, but they are reimbursed by the customer. So the customer is our resident and our citizen of Gibraltar who is paying the increased cost for the permit via whatever contractor is doing their work, should that contractor pull a permit.
But as it should be, you do work, you pay to fix your fence or whatever you're doing, or am I missing something? I don't get it.
Not to.
They're not, the fees aren't excessive.
No, I think, but the follow-up there is we're gonna get the analytics, so we can all
Okay,
be educated on
I'm
that. I
done.
think
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
not to
not
bel-
material to the discussion.
Yeah, not to belabor it, my comments have nothing to do with their performance whatsoever. I agree with the mayor and Councilman Molinar, want to look at more of the information, but I would obviously recommend that we just go for the vote and.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
continue service as you will without disruption of services.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? If not, Clerk Domestic, do you want to roll on this one, or do you?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Schumate.
Yes.
Bosmer.
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
Dill.
Yes.
LaPointe.
Yes.
McNabb.
Yes.
Mulnar.
Yes. Motion carried. McKenna Partners, I appreciate you for being here, for all the things you've done for this community since your time here, and we look forward to following up and continue our partnership with this new agreement. All right, back to you.
I'm going to turn this one over to Captain Schaefer.
Tonight, the fire department is looking for a motion to approve funding for the basic water and boat operations course that will be held on August 1st, 2026. The cost of the course is $3,500. It comes out of our education portion of the budget. It is budgeted for. We have $8,000 in the account currently. This class is to get all of our members up to par on water rescue and boat operations. So if there is a water rescue in our city, we can effectively execute that. We also do auto aid with other communities for water rescue, so it not only benefits our citizens, but the surrounding communities.
I make the motion to approve funding for the GFD Basic Water and Boat Operations Course for August 1st, 2026, in the amount of $3,500.
Motion by Bosmer. Do we have a second?
Second.
I heard McNabb and LaPointe. I don't know who you got, Katie. Ladies first. All right. Discussion?
The boat we have currently knows a smaller raft-sized boat. Do you guys ever train on that or bring that out for any kind of training?
So about, I believe it was 3 weeks ago, we took our boat that has the 25 horsepower motor out on it, and we got a few of our members that have not been on the boat familiar with it. We also do training with our inflatable boat, which is a 14-foot banana boat, and then our kayaks. So we do it a couple times a year, but this is a class through the state. So this will give everybody a certification. So if something was to happen, we're all certified on it.
You guys Mustang suits and those kind of things too?
We do. We have 8 Mustang suits, several rope bags, several other pieces of equipment for water rescue, that this would all incorporate in that training, so everybody's familiar with them.
Great, thank you. important.
Important for us to have you guys certified and capable and fast reacting. Coast Guard, who's, you know, normally the, you know, reactor for these things, they've condensed. They are taking care of, out of Sector Detroit, they're taking care of all the way down to Toledo and back. Their group is getting smaller and smaller, and so we're left more and more reliant on local operations.
Thanks. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Captain Schaefer, thank you to you and your department.
Thank you.
Back to you.
I'm going to call the DPW director up to present the next 4 items.
You get to come back, John.
Okay,
Did you enjoy your time off?
that was a busy day. Okay, my first motion is to approve an invoice from Johnson Controls for a service call to replace a smoke detector in the general office area. Came in that morning, the detector was showing a fault. Went over to the fire alarm panel, I couldn't reset it, so I contacted the company whose name was on the panel and requested service. Existing system is a Simplex fire and smoke detector system and was installed in 2004. Technician ended up replacing the old smoke detector with a newer model and had the information updated on their as-built file. At the same time, I asked them to check the backup batteries for the fire alarm panel and found that they were over 5 years old and that they needed to be replacing, which was done with this service call. Pursuant to the City of Gibraltar Purchase Policy, Section 7B, the justification for sole sourcing is as follows. Johnson Controls is a certified installer of the Simplex system and is a service contractor for the Simplex system. With the fire alarm and smoke detection system having a problem, I did not want to leave the building unprotected that night. Cost of this was $2,507.11.
Motion is in your court, counsel.
I'll make the motion to approve the invoice from Johnson Controls for a service call, in the amount of $2,507.10.
Motion by Bosmer.
I second for discussion purposes.
Second by Dill. Just as a comment, I think, John, you were so objective in your positioning, but in many cases, you're bringing items that I would consider quite emergency or safety related. So just want to clarify that I would consider this. Thank you for your prompt action. Go ahead.
Mayor, I don't know, point of order, should we motion to forego the bid process due to the emergency and sole source reasoning here? Do we have to go out to bid for this typically?
No, the purchase policy does provide a provision for sole
7B.
serving, that's 7B, that is
But do we have
referenced.
to make a motion to state that they're waiving the bid process for 7B and approve?
My simple suggestion is perhaps the person making said motion, Councilman Bosmer, might add emergency to his motion as a means of addressing the necessity. Katie, do you have any? Sorry.
No, I was saying bless you.
Was that a necessity under the 7B policy?
So Anthony, is it acceptable for Councilman Bosmer to consider adding the emergency nature of this to his motion? Or do you need a motion to waive said bid policy, even though you have purchase policy section 7B addressing this matter?
Acceptable for him to add.
All right. Well,
Would you consider adding emergency to your motion, please?
sure, if it's necessary. And going forward, we would know from tonight's council meeting that this is something we should do going forward.
Thank
Is
you,
that
sir.
best practice?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
add the words emergency to the order.
I-
Where you want to place that is fine with me.
I support that, and again, I don't mean to be trivial with it, I'm just,
I
I
we
just
are-
recall for this, I believe we have to waive in
continue to
the best
optimize
interest of the residents for emergency purposes, we're waiving the bid process.
Also like to add, thanks, John, for your due diligence too.
Yes.
And Johnson Controls for finding the other fire alarm batteries that were 5 years.
Yes.
How many, was it past due? How many years, or they were expired already, or? what was the
Good for
point?
about 3 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. So we have a revised motion. Clerk Tomasic, sorry, I think you got caught in the middle. Did you get the revised language? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Back to you.
Okay. The next motion is to approve the quote from Quint Plumbing and Heating to rebuild and retest the 1.5 watts backflow preventer at the sanitary pump station. As part of the city's cross-connection program on the domestic water lines and commercial buildings, a backflow device is required to prevent backflow contamination of the water system. As part of the program, these devices need to be tested yearly by a certified backflow tester, and the information is entered on the HydroCorp site for the city. Backflow device at the pump station, which is on the washdown hose reel, failed the test. Quint, who's a certified backflow device tester, did the initial test and is quoted $1,393.81 to rebuild and retest the device. A new backflow device ranges in price from $1,600 to $2,500 plus installation. It's my recommendation to award quote to Quint for $1,393.81. And then I've got my thing in here about justification for sole sourcing is Quint Plumbing is our plumbing maintenance contractor, and they are also a certified backflow tester and installer and a licensed plumber and are familiar with the required record keeping with HydroCorp. So I'm asked the fiscal impact is $1,393.81.
Motion's in your court, counsel.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to waive the bid process due to sole sourcing and approve the invoice from Quint Plumbing and Heating quote to rebuild and retest the 1-inch watts RPBP containment device at the sanitary pump station in the amount of $1,393.81.
Motion by Dill. Do we have a second?
I heard it over here.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Just clarification, it's 1.5 that matters.
Yeah, it was 1.5. Just want to make sure you support that.
1.5.
It came out.
1.5, I'm sorry,
You're fine.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, 1.5, thank you.
We have a motion, we have a second. Council, please, discussion.
Again, sorry, don't mean to be trivial, just.
No, it's important. Let the record reflect accuracy. Thank you.
Just to clarify, I'm going to read what exactly the purchase policy says, and I literally just sent our attorney an email asking him to educate me. For Section 7, it's small purchase transactions, which number 1 states quotations shall be obtained for procurement of equipment, materials, supplies, and services, shall follow Section 5E and F respectively. And then under 1B is for purchases between $1,000 and $10,000, the department must secure 3 quotes, not bids, from city council approval or for city council approval or provide justification for sole source selection. Which has been done. And this is a new thing John and I are trying out because we bring so many different things before you guys in this number range, is to identify exactly what section of the purchase policy is at play here, and if he is requesting a sole source selection to provide that justification to be pursuant to the policy. So I'd love Attorney Bologna to clarify why the additional motion is necessary. Educate us all, please.
If he did 3 quotes, it's not, so it gives you the option, the 3 quotes or provide justification.
Your motion is robust and may not necessitate all the wording, but your choice.
In the past, whether it's right or wrong, we would always waive and consider that the bid. I don't know if my other colleagues would agree, but we would waive that bid process. Anything over $1,000, if I'm wrong.
So I
Please, Attorney Bologna, I mean, correct me and I'll.
Finance Director McCune wants to say something. Please come on up to the mic. Join John.
I was going to say the purchasing policy actually got updated when Vince Pastu was in that seat. So there was a different purchasing policy previously that you were making motions
But I believe that was
against.
pursuant to the charter. A policy, the charter would trump the
I think-
policy. So that's where I would rely on.
Finance Director McEwen, thank you, because I think it's important. Just one last thought.
Sorry, I didn't mean, yes, I do thank you.
If I may, we have a referenced purchasing policy and an attorney who said our motion is good for an item that we need to
Yes.
vote on. But I think the bigger discussion is important, which is procedurally, how do we best handle this?
Right.
Which I think might warrant a follow-up discussion or details unless that information is readily available. Councilwoman Point?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? No. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Back to you.
Next, John.
My next one is a motion to approve the quote from Flow Air for replacing existing ACCU2. ACCU2 went out of service on June 23rd. Flow Air came out on a service call and discovered that the compressor had shorted out the ground and failed internally. The cost to repair the existing unit is $7,251. And with the age of the unit and the availability of parts, it's my recommendation to replace the unit. The new unit is $8,216 and includes a new AC coil and existing furnace. This is the same type of ream unit as the previous two we've replaced, 4 and 5. The price is in line with the other units that were replaced. It's my recommendation to award Flow Air the quote to replace ACCU2 for $8,216. And pursuant to Section 7B, the justification for sole sourcing is as follows. Flow Air is our HVAC contractor, a licensed and qualified contractor for the work. The price is in line with the previous units that were replaced. ACCU2 serves all the administrative offices on the west side of the building, starting at the finance director down to the break room. So right now, none of them rooms have air conditioning.
So if I may, just one more point before I look for a motion, just to attest, I sit in an office that is impacted, but I'm not there 40 hours plus a week, like many of my department head amazing personnel that are, including the broader personnel, such as this fine gentleman himself. So, John, I mentioned it earlier, but I've just also please emphasize this is an emergency situation. If anybody doesn't believe me, go sit in one of those offices. It is not a comfortable environment for people to work in. Just want to make sure I'm clear. Motion's in your court, Counsel.
Make the motion to approve the quote from Flow Air to replace the existing ACCU number 2 for the amount of $8,216.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Dill. Council discussion. I know this is a topic, let's just call this what it is, that has raised concerns previously. This is an emergency. Trust me, if you don't believe me, go sit in those offices. They've already dealt with it for quite some time now, since the date referenced in your packet, June 23rd to be exact. It's an uncomfortable work environment for our people, and for that reason, in addition to the others described, I would beg you to please consider that.
I agree entirely. Again, not being trivial again, I wouldn't say that this would be for sole source, but this would be for emergency purposes. Because I don't think there would be one sole source for purchasing air conditioning units. Just based off of my understanding, I think we can go to anybody to get an air conditioning unit, but I still agree that this is an emergency and that we should go for it. So again, can we please look into the procedural?
Welcome to add an emergency onto that.
Yeah, again,
Tomasic.
That's important, if we may, if it's supported. Okay.
Yes.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
This needs to be a roll call vote. No, it's because.
Well, we go into roll call. We have one no, and to be clear, this does require unanimous approval, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
LaPointe,
No.
McNabb,
Yes.
Molnar,
Abstain.
Schumate,
Yes.
Bosmer,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Dill.
Yes.
Motion does not carry. Apologize to the staff. We'll have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Next item, please.
All right. Motion to approve a quote from Guy Messler for replacing the compressor on ACCU1. The compressor on ACCU1 needs replacing as it has an internal short. This is a Carrier 5-ton unit, it's 10 years old, handles the first floor conference room and the clerk's office. It's my recommendation to award Guy Messler the replacement of the compressor. Justification for sole sourcing was Guy Messler provided the low bid for the repair, and furnace one was installed by them also. I called them first as the fault code showed on the furnace, and as it was under warranty, it made sense to call Guy and Messler first. And I also received a quote from Flow Air for the same repair, and they were second on pricing. The cost to repair this unit is $4,333.
Motion's in your court, counsel.
I make a motion to waive the bid process in the best interest of the residents due to the emergency sense, and to approve the quote from Guy and Missler for replacing the compressor on ACU 1 in the amount of $4,333.00.
Motion by Dill, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Lapointe. Any discussion?
I don't know if this needs to be waived as a bid
It-
process. There was two contractors that.
I was
bid
smiling
on
because
the
the
project.
policy is 1 to 10. The policy
Good with
states 1 to, up to 3 quotes, or 3 or more
Okay.
quotes, I should say, should be captured when it's 1 to 10. Rachel, hold me honest to that?
Yep.
Okay, so you don't need to include that language.
I
don't see
amend it to remove that.
Yeah, I would remove the bid language if I were you.
So it'd
Yes.
just be to approve the quote?
Yes.
Due
Yep.
to emergency, if you so choose.
Yeah, to approve the recommended action as proposed.
Okay. Does our supporters support said revised language?
We need to put it for emergency.
Yep. I'm good.
Does our supporter support?
Do you support? He amended
You remove the
his-
bid language. Let the record, please, Kate, Clerk Domestic, can you read what we have now, just to make
To
sure?
approve the quote from Guy and Missler for replacing the compressor on ACCU 1.
Thank you.
Support.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Motion carried. Thank you. Back to you.
This next item is actually from Councilman Dill.
Yes, sorry. If I may, just to reflect on what we just passed through, can we add purchasing policy to our study session at the second meeting for discussion purposes?
Sounds like that would be astute.
Thank you. Digress. All right.
Can I comment on that? I
Yeah,
think we
please.
should think about most of these things that John's getting quotes for, like $800, $1,200. Maybe we revise the purchasing policy or talk about that when we go through the nomenclature, what a bid versus a quote versus a whatever, and when you use it and sole sourcing. We're going to go through all that, to your point.
I
But we
love
should
that.
look at maybe increasing that maybe to $5,000. I don't know
I
what the
would-
number is, just
I would
food
agree.
for thought, that's all.
I think it's a great suggestion. I think it would be procedurally efficient, would respect our people's time, and our lawyer could help us
Yeah.
navigate said that process. Thank you. Back to you, Councilman Dill.
All right. Again, tonight I bring before you a motion or a resolution in opposition to the Wayne County Transit Millage ballot proposal. I'm not going to read the entire resolution unless my colleagues really want me to read that. But it's been included in your packet. I'll highlight a couple of the items. One, that there's no guarantee that there will be a line that goes through Gibraltar, that there are proposals that there will be lines that go through Gibraltar, but there would be no actual guarantee to our residents. And then two, I would like to point you to the cost. It would be over $180,000 per year as a whole for the Gibraltar taxpayer to foot the bill for a service that we would really not see in this city. And third, City of Gibraltar has opted out since like '94. So I don't see the purpose of this, why it would benefit the majority of our residents. It would tax our residents for a service that they, by and large, do not use. I do respect and I appreciate public transit, and I hope for the best in the other communities, but I don't believe that's necessary for our hometown. And as I've been consistent, I am not in favor of any new tax increase. And as mentioned earlier during public comment, this is a new tax. This isn't replacing something. This is an additional tax to us and to the taxpayer of the City of Gibraltar that we would foot the bill for something that we would not by and large use. So that's why I bring this before you. I understand it could be a sensitive topic, but by and large, this wouldn't I don't believe this would benefit the taxpayers of Gibraltar if this millage passed. And with that, I make a motion to approve resolution in opposition of the Wayne County Transit Millage 2026 ballot proposal in August.
Motion's on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Molnar. Discussion, council.
And my part of it, I have only been exposed to it not as much as I could be, and that's homework that is on me. I know when we are stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, we have to do what is in the best interest of the taxpayers, and it's not our money. With my money, I know where I like to contribute to and where I like to be involved with and what I like to participate in, and I enough said on that topic. But when it's the residents' money, we are entrusted to do what is fiscally responsible and appropriate, and that's my position.
Just for the sake of full collective transparency, I mentioned earlier in public commentary that we had met with county officials, SMART officials. All of council was given a letter from the chief executive officer and general manager of SMART in response to Councilman Dill's proposed resolution. I just want to make sure we've got the collective information. County official did state that this would propose 2 routes that were relevant to Gibraltar. One would be Fort Street connecting to downtown Detroit, and the second would be Allen Downriver route connecting to Taylor, Brownson, and Woodhaven. Obviously, take that for what it is, which is Councilman Dill or others have spoken about proposals versus surety, but I just want to make sure everything was very clear on that was a proposal from the county official that we met with. I won't go into detail with the letter, but if anybody wants to see the letter from SMART, I'm personally glad to share that, just for transparency purposes. I think I brought it up in context earlier, which is we have opted out as a community and absorbing a lot of tax dollar considerations without a guaranteed benefit to our residents in context is concerning to me, and that's where my head's at right now.
That dollar amount is pretty close to our entire trash removal budget for the entire year, isn't it?
And I think we need to be realistic that obviously this is, as described in the resolution that's publicly posted, address a lot of the specifics. And if anybody wants to personally talk to me about it, I'm glad to do so. But I just want to make sure I was publicly transparent with where I'm at. Any further discussion? Please, Councilwoman.
So I asked for it to be removed because I personally don't think it's appropriate for us to pass a resolution to tell our residents how to vote on an issue that they're going to vote on. I don't make it my business. If I want as a collective body to tell our legislators at the state and the Washington level that we think that the people of our community feel this way or how we're directly impacted, that's one thing. I don't think this is appropriate or necessary. The second thing is, I also went to the meeting, and I was so glad that the mayor did that because I had questions. Commissioner Garza was wonderful. In a home valued at $250,000, I think they said that our payment would be approximately $8 a month or less. So there's people that say, I know where I want to spend my money, but if we as a society can't spend $8 a month or whatever it is from our pocket to help people with disabilities lead a full life or our elderly get where they need to get, I just don't understand it. That's not who I am. So I've always, supported SMART. And I was listening to Patty's story about her parents. And, when I moved to Gibraltar in 1984, we had 1 vehicle, 3 children, and a husband that worked here and didn't make enough money. So I would go to Vreeland and Ford Street, get on the SMART bus so I could go downtown to my job at Ford Motor Company. And I did that for 20 years. And I paid my 50 cents. And without that, I wouldn't have been able to work and feed my family. So I feel very strongly about this. So that's my story, and
I appreciate that.
It's all just a personal thing on how you view the world, I guess.
I appreciate that. Any further discussion? It is a resolution, so it would require a roll call. So I will turn it over to Clerk Tomasico. Please call roll.
Molnar.
Yes.
Schumate.
Yes.
Bosmer.
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
Dill?
Yes.
Lapointe?
No.
McNabb?
Yes.
Motion carried, and with that, I will let it get back to you for our next item.
So the next item on the agenda would be me requesting to enter a closed session to discuss strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of the Teamsters collective bargaining agreement.
Do we have a motion to enter closed session as requested?
So moved.
Motion by
And
Lapointe.
support.
Support by Busmer. I want to stick to the agenda. I would have entertained that earlier, but unfortunately, we haven't approved the agenda, and I want to stick to that, if that's understandable. But we were glad to accept any public comment after we get out of that session. All right.
We're gonna make it quick, Wayne.
Roll call, please.
Schumate?
Yes.
Osmer?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Dill?
Yes.
Lapointe?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
For those that are here, we turn our mics off, we go upstairs, we return, and then we go back to our published agenda, which will include public comment. Wayne, thank you.
We'll be back. My pants are stuck to me. Should wear shorts like everybody else. I wore one pants.
I appreciate it.
Just something, I
If
just,
you
yeah,
want,
yeah,
if
you
you-
gotta do your stuff at the end of the.
But if you wanted to say something, you had public comment in the front to ask us to address it. All right, let's get those mics green again, please.
2 seconds,
Yeah.
he's restroom.
Just waiting for one member to join us, and we will go ahead and consider a motion to re-enter our open meeting, if you so chose.
Ready?
Make a motion to return to the regular council meeting at 9:05 PM.
Motion by Lapointe.
Second.
Do we have a second? Yes. Discussion? Clerk Tomasic, do I voice vote or roll call?
Voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We are back in open session. Does council have any action they would like to consider?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Gibraltar tentative agreement with the Teamsters Union for 1 year,
Support?
2026 to 2027.
We have a motion by Lapointe. We have support from Bosmer with that language reflected. Clerk Tomasic, do you have that?
Yes.
All right. Discussion? You got a discussion? You got a second from Bosmer. Discussion?
Nope.
Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
Lapointe?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulner?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Bosmer?
Yes.
Motion carried. We would love the opportunity to now turn over to our members of public for any comment they wish to share, and I gratefully appreciate your patience.
Wayne Brandon, 30490 South Gibraltar Road. Nobody has mentioned that in our 2.5 mils we had before, that there was actual $1 per 1,000 gallons also on that of the water when we did that 2.5 before. And we're also brought up that it might be $5 per 1,000 gallons that we're going to need coming soon. If I was right, what I heard in the infrastructure meeting, so just want everybody to be aware of that. Because basically it's just going from the water department to the police and fire. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any additional members of public who wish to address council?
Hi, Justice Walden, 30726 Adams. Just a couple of things. Very firstly, Rachel, I think you mentioned something earlier when you were giving out the awards about how working for the city could be a thankless job. And that's proven particular, at least in my eyes, to one individual. So I kind of wanted to shout out to Hannah. She's been doing an amazing job for the city, putting all the events together, and I just don't think she gets the credit from the residents, really, that she should. It seems like she feels a lot more complaints than she does thank you. So for me to Hannah, I wanted to give her a thank you.
Love that, thank you.
Also wanted to shout out to the DPW for their hard work on July 3rd. There were a lot of downed trees. I almost got wiped out by one while I was on the motorcycle, unfortunately. And it seemed like it was a pretty quick response, and they were able to get the roads cleared. So shout out to them as well, and also to the police and fire departments for the fire that they responded to on June 30th. That was right down the house, or right down the street from me. And by the time I looked down the street and saw the smoke column coming from the house, it seemed like the fire department was pulling up on scene. So great job, guys. You killed it. You got that fire out and under control pretty fast. That kind of segues into something you guys were talking about earlier with the millage and talking about staff cuts. That day in particular, it was a really, really hot day, and there were only 2 people that showed up on scene first. And even with those 2, they were able to get a lot of work done. But I think you guys called in 5 different departments, if I'm not mistaken. And one of those departments was strictly rehab to keep these guys from passing out. And to even consider making any sort of staff cuts, especially on an understaffed department, in agencies across the nation, they are experiencing understaffing. So I don't think that staffing should even be a consideration when you guys are trying to save money. Public safety is by far one of the most important things that a city can have, and to even think about taking jobs away from these guys,
100%.
It's unreal. Joe already talked to you about that one. And then the last thing I want to say is regarding the AC unit and the failed vote. I understand at this point that there's a vote being based on principle and the stance that was taken. But something needs to happen, because while that person is a representative for the residents, you're also a representative for the staff of this city, and you're not doing right by the individuals that run this city on a day-to-day basis by not supporting them because of your bias towards one council member. Now we have to circumvent and have a completely separate meeting to get an AC unit approved like we have every other time. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of time, and these guys don't deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment? All right, that will close our public comment, and I would love to turn over to Clerk Tomasic.
Thank you. Election Day is 3 weeks from tomorrow, August 4th, and it is a primary election, so I just wanted to remind everyone, primary election, there's a partisan section on the ballot, Democrat and Republican. You can only vote on one of those parties all the way down for a primary election. So if you cross over, as we call it, and you vote on both sides, none of your votes will count, unfortunately. So I just want to make sure, spread the word on that for primary elections, to be careful when you're voting your ballot. If you do mess up, though, you can fix it. You can spoil it. Just contact our office, and we'll help you fix that. So early voting for this election starts next Saturday, July 25th, and it runs for 9 days through August 2nd, from 8:30 to 4:30 at the community center. And then Election Day is on Tuesday, August 4th. Polls will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Tomasic. Appreciate it. Any questions or comments for Clerk Tomasic? Treasurer Reiser, good to see you. Best to your family, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My report is more of a thank you and to Amy and all the staff for getting prepped for the audit. I know it's a lot of work, even prepping before they're here. So they've been doing a lot of work getting ready for it when auditors do show up. So I'd like to thank them for all their hard work.
Thank you, Treasurer Reiser.
That's all.
Any questions or comments for Treasurer Reiser? All right, Council?
I'll start unless anybody else
please
wants. Yeah, I might forget if I don't. I want to talk about the potential of a part-time fire department EMT. I know that Councilwoman LaPointe, you had mentioned if that's a goal of ours, then we should just say it out loud. And I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it is a goal of mine for a part-time fire and EMT to be established here. And the reason for that is a couple of things, or a few things. I know going back to when I decided to get involved and run for council a few years ago, I listened to a lot of people of what they were interested in, and I heard a lot of residents say they wanted a full-time fire and EMS, and I responded back facetiously to several of them, like, yeah, we could do that. We just have to get rid of the police department. Like, we can't afford them both. We just can't, given our financial constraints and that with the charter. But a feasible, if a millage passes and if the stars align, a feasible approach is to have a part-time fire department EMT service. We have personnel currently that are willing to fill those roles, capable. Having them on site is super important. The difference between, and I'm seeing it firsthand in one of the roles that I'm serving in right now, is when you have scheduling on a volunteer pay basis or a pay per call basis. Friday nights are when people want to go do fun stuff and nobody volunteers. Saturday is when people want to go travel and do stuff with their family and friends and nobody volunteers. And it ends up going on the same one or two people on every time, and you don't end up, when a fire happens or a incident happens, they usually happen on Friday or Saturday when people are out doing fun, dumb stuff, and they end up needing a call, and that's when you're short-staffed, because the people that are doing the pay-per-call or the volunteer are also out doing fun stuff with their friends and family. So it is a goal of mine. I think, lastly, one of the unique dynamics or unique characteristics of Gibraltar as a community is that it is a destination community. We have very low residential turnover. It is a place where people want to live, they strive to live. It is not always place where somebody can get their first home, but it is certainly a place where people want to be. And as a result, the net average age of our resident is older than similar surrounding communities. And with an aging, above average age compared to the other communities, it is an additional likelihood that we need services provided by fire and EMT, particularly EMT. So it certainly is a goal of mine to see us establish a part-time fire EMT service, and I just wanted to say it out loud.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
I really appreciate that. Additional?
If you don't mind, so this Friday at the Gil Talbert Community Center from 10 to 4, we're having a blood drive for the American Red Cross and our fellow community members. And as far as the blood travels, it could go to a children's hospital in Indiana, wherever an American citizen needs blood, wherever there's a car accident, wherever there's a blood transfusion, wherever there's anything that needs blood supplies, we can help our own, in our own state and outside our own state as fellow Americans. So I really want to, again, influence and try to coerce anyone to come out and set up an appointment. My last name, bosmer@me.com. I'd be glad to set your appointment up. You can go to redcross.org. Yeah, so that's this Friday, 10 to 3:30 or 10:30, 10 to 4, I think it is. But and then we had Beautification Commission meeting. You know, the ladies are out there watering and getting the DPW director just fixed their, is it the Caputo, the apparatus they have to work, and he's got the pump fixed for them, and some good stuff there, and our community is safer as a result. And Parks and Recreation Commission meeting got realigned for this Wednesday, so we'll be attending that, and I'll bring back a report as appropriate. No other reports for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bosmer. Any additional council comments or updates?
Comment, a couple of them. Again, thank you, folks, for your support on that resolution this evening. And thank you, Justice, for highlighting how well Hannah has been doing. She did a stellar job for her first 4th of July. Great event. Fireworks were just gorgeous. A 25-minute display. What did we pay for that? I mean, we certainly got our money's worth. You know, I think she did a stellar job. You know, too bad shirts didn't come in earlier enough, but no fault to hers. So she did a fantastic job. Kudos to her, and kudos to police and fire that were supporting, DPW that were supporting, all the volunteers that made it happen, especially the Parks and Rec Commission, because they're donating their time to the city, and time is money, so it's valuable, and we appreciate it, especially on a hot 4th of July, as we just had, especially with power out around town. I can imagine other folks were hoofing generators around, but we still had a pretty good party, I would like to say, you know, as a community. And with that, get out to vote on Election Day, August. I'll make that comment at the next meeting as well. Every vote counts. Hopefully every legal vote counts. And other than that, great job, everybody.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Well, thank you all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wondered if, just a recommendation, city administrator, since it was our city or new Parks and Rec directors, like first 4th of July, you know, would you consider, I don't know if you had a meeting to debrief with her, but it'd be nice to have just some kind of written report. Like, you know, what went well, what might not have went so great, what we can fix next year, if you think it's value added.
Yeah.
I just thrown it out there. You don't have to answer me.
I think it
That's
went
all.
Love it.
well. One more comment. Let's thank Councilman Molnar, or Councilman McNabb and Councilman Bosmer for sitting in the dunk tank. And taking one for the team.
Yes.
How did that go?
It was our pleasure. It was 90 out.
Yeah, it probably felt good. Yeah, thank
Especially
you.
once we figured it all out.
Did we make a lot of money for the city? Like, were the lines long?
We made a lot of smiles, I'm sure.
Millions and millions.
Millions of people? Okay.
People were coming from all over.
They actually shut us down. I was willing to stay the whole day there.
He didn't want to get out of the tank, they had to pull him out, yeah. Well, we'll see.
He loved it so much. Good for you.
Thank you for the shout out, Councilman Cox.
About that too.
All right, administrator report.
Thank you. So a few items. First, I just want to echo what resident Walden said about our fire department. They handled a massive fire, and they did it in excellent fashion. I learned a lot. It was 90 degrees that day, and they were fighting a fire. So they did have to call in Trenton, which was a huge resource to have them do what's called rehab, where basically the firefighters went in and they got in some air conditioning, they received air, and they cooled down. But what our kind resident failed to mention is that he also helped out on the scene that day. And I was told by our fire chief and fire captain, if they did not get water on as soon as they did, they likely would have lost another structure. So that was a combination of not only our chief and captain, who were the first on the scene to respond, thankfully they were in the building at the time, as well as residents and Officer Bates as well, who there's a great picture of him with a fire hose. It was truly an incredible effort, and it was incredible for me as the administrator to see 3 different departments as well as community members working together to help keep our employees safe, keep the public safe, and to protect structures here in our city. We also had a number of residents stop by offering Gatorade, waters, helping to keep everyone safe and cool. So I just want to thank everyone, because that is what this small community is all about. It's helping each other, and that was an incredible demonstration.
Very well said, Rachel.
So thank you for that. I also want to highlight Hannah, and thank you all for highlighting her as well, because she started, if you remember, in March. We immediately threw her into the Easter party. We said, all right, we've done a few things. Now you take it from here. And then she also took on 4th of July without missing a beat. And she added numerous different opportunities at 4th of July, including vendors and the dunk tank, as well as having to deal with power outages at the Talbert Center, down trees, a turnout that wasn't as great as expected due to things like storms and power outages, and she handled it all in stride. She truly deserves all the kudos. We will be having a debrief tomorrow with all of our departments and Hannah, and I will provide that to council. The last thing I want to mention is, if you notice in your packet, the very last page is a table. That table has all the postponed and referred items that council has given. We are constantly working on trying to increase our communication and create value to council for the things they need and want. So Councilwoman LaPointe mentioned it would be really helpful to better keep track of those things. And so we truly do listen to all your feedback, and we try to implement it where we're able to. And I think this is a really easy way for us to, one, all learn the nomenclature of tabled, referred, and postponed, as well as to keep better track of the things on that table. So if you're ever curious about an update for both council and the public, just refer to that table. Not everything will be on that table. Only items that specifically had a postponement or a referred item from council will go on that table. As you all know, because you've all been in my office, I have many other tables myself. The last thing I do want to mention is our study session for the next meeting. We were planning to focus on water rates, but I think we can also add the purchasing policy to that discussion as well. Just to give you guys a little context, we discussed water rates a few months ago, but both Amy, John, and I left that meeting not sure what council is thinking, where you stand. So at our next meeting of the study session, we would really appreciate if it was a more interactive discussion so that we could come out of that knowing more about what you guys are thinking, where your heads are at, so we can bring you a proposal. It's really important for us to have that discussion and to know where you guys stand on all issues before we create the full proposal, because ultimately, we don't want to bring you something and you say, no, absolutely not, and then we're back to the drawing board. So if that's all I have for that. Thank you.
Are we, just to keep consistent with the motion made a couple months back about the special event policy, I believe that needs to be addressed too before the
Yep.
first August meeting.
That is on the table, or the postponed or referred items.
Do you want to talk about that at the study session though? That's what
So the 90 days was up, I believe, August 13th, so we have time at the first August meeting to discuss that. I wasn't planning on doing a full study session on that,
I
but
just thought it could be a part of the study session.
I'm hesitant, just to give you guys insight into my mind, I'm hesitant to add too many items that I want to fully discuss with you all into a 1-hour time period. I'm afraid that even with water rates and the purchasing policy, those are two big items, that there's a lot to digest in both of those. Putting them together, I'm not sure if there would be any more space. But ultimately, it's up to council to decide if that's the direction they want to go. But I believe on the proposed table, which I closed it already, it is for the first meeting in August that I have that planned for.
All right.
Any further questions or updates from the city administrator?
Just come prepared to discuss. Yep. And if there is additional information that you'd like, we'd love to know that ahead of time too, so we can come prepared as well.
I'm still trying to equate the size of the water lines to who those
Yeah.
customers are. We know one and
Mhm.
eight, but I don't know if you have the information. I think we had talked about that. I think
Yeah.
it might be helpful to see, because those are going to be the commercial users.
Yep, and we have our city employee of the year working on that for you.
Awesome. Any further questions or comments for city administrator? The study sessions are at the second meeting of every month at 5:30 PM.
Yep.
So it will precede the council meeting on the
think it's
second meeting of
the-
every month.
27th this month, possibly.
Any further questions, discussions? It's my report. I think everything has been very eloquently covered and stated. Thank you to the teams that make each day possible, but a special shout out, as I echo all the commentary, to those that made the 4th of July so special. With that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Have a great night, everybody.
Saw little Bruce the other day at the boatyard.
Oh,